Mm-hmm.
I think my next question is actually going to scratch the surface even further. So, for the three of you, can you kind of discuss with us designing and implementing realistic physics and environmental interactions in your world? Basically, things that builders do to make it when you're in VR to kind of feel the same as you do outside the headset. Who would like to take that one?
I mean, that's pretty, same deal. Same with the feelings, but actually having things in a world that are either moving or sounds that you hear. I can't say smells yet because we don't have that. But yeah, I mean, anything walking into a world that makes it feel that more realistic, whether, like I said, hit one of those senses, any of your senses. Bringing all of those in is what creates a little bit extra realism to me. And that's what I'd say I always shoot for, those extra little parts. That's where the scripting of the movable things and bringing in sounds and being able to do all of that comes into play and brings a still life to actual life.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Oh man. Now, true enough, I don't know the scripting capabilities of Horizon, but over in VR chat, but I know we got we have bouncing balls and stuff, and being able to throw objects and everything over here. You know what I'm saying? However, but being in VR chat, we have swimming physics. Being able to actually jump in the pool and float in the pool and swim and stuff.
Flight.
Flight. We're still working on the baseball bat where you actually hit somebody and knock them clear over. We're still working on that one. You know what I'm saying?
Only for the trolls.
But the physics, the physics and stuff is amazing, man. Being able to get onto a slide and having a script placed on there that once you step on this is to move, is to shift your gravity. Yep. You know what I'm saying, and things of that nature. So physics plays a big part in the whole immersion of being in certain worlds. Scripting like over here in Horizons and VR chat the same. When it comes to shooting games and stuff, and you picking up guns and you're shooting, and the bullets that are coming out when they hit an opponent. What I'm saying, and the health bar goes low. All of those things play a major part. The same things that you think of in a game that you play on your console or on your computer are the same physics that we're able to deploy inside of the VR world. But in this case, you just get to experience them in a sense of firsthand.
Exactly.
But you figure these are all gaming worlds and experiences that we're in here. And the easiest way for me to explain it is take your favorite video game and be placed inside of it.
Yeah,
that's like the easiest way that I can really describe it. So, take your favorite video game, like Tron back in the day, and just get zapped inside to that game. That's really what the experience is like in here.
You know what? Even also for people who have played Left 4 Dead, the game Left 4 Dead, where you're running around shooting zombies and stuff, you come into the headset and you put on what's the oh my god,
I'm Walking Dead.
Not The Walking Dead, and then there's another one on here, not Left 4 Dead, but it's oh my goodness, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I cannot think of this game to save my life, and I play it so much. I play it so much. But you're running around, you're shooting zombies, you're jumping over stuff, you're hiding behind stuff, and it's the physics is great, man. You're in it. You're in the game. You are in the game.
Assassin's Creed. I mean, that was one of the ones that I played for years and loved every single one of the characters in those games. The look of them, the feel of the game was awesome, everything about it. And the minute they had an advertisement that I was going to be able to have those things on my hands, and I know that this is going to sound horrible, and I don't even want to say it, and kill somebody. You know what I mean? Like that's or
in VR, not for real.
In a game, it's what you do in the game. So you're an assassin and you run around and you assassinate people. It's terrible, but you got these things that come out on your hands. And in the game, it was such a cool weapon. And to literally take my hands and go like this and have these blades come out and actually have them on my hands, it's wild. I know I say when you're in here, it's totally different than a 2D experience, which you're experiencing now too, watching us on the podcast, on YouTube, wherever you may be watching it. It is a 2D experience. Us being in here, I feel like I'm in the room right now with everybody in this room.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's what you get when you're in here as opposed to actually looking at it on a screen.
And you made me think of it too, Pistolas. After the fall, that's it.
Oh,
After
okay.
the
Yeah.
fall. Yes, after the fall.
Yeah,
All
well,
good
Pistolas
games.
was just mentioning as far as how this feels. I mean, there's full depth perception.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to City Girl, shout out to Blue Moon, shout out
Yep.
to Fuchsia. While we're in the studio here, it looks like they're about 12 feet away from me.
Yep.
And it's realistic like that, where I'll talk to people. I'm like, yeah, they're like about 10 feet from me.
Yep.
That type thing. Like, it really seems like that way. So, and everything is pretty much in proportion to, I won't say your normal height for some people, but an average height of a person. So
For the most part.
you really get that full depth perception whenever you go in here, the full 3D experience. It's amazing. It's something that you can't really describe fully until you're in there.
Straight up.
Now, I'll give you an example. I was in a workout group. My guy partner, who was on the first episode that we did here, and he had Say Less Fitness. I probably shouldn't mention this, but we were doing a workout, and in his workout area, we had like these rails around us, right? And we were doing some push-ups and stuff like that on the ground, and this workout basically kicked my ass that day. And I remember getting up slowly, and I went to lean on that rail, and thank God I caught myself before I did, because if not, I would have fallen on my face, because, you know, you see the experience and you think it's there. I can't tell you how many people have had a drink in their hand, like this table here, caught themselves setting the drink down, bam, it crashes on the floor because, of course, their table is not there. And I'll even mention one more, me being a DJ. I have worlds that have speakers in it, and they have active speakers where you actually see the speakers moving to the bass. For me, it makes it that much more realistic, where even though I don't, as soon as I see those in my mind, I start feeling the woofers, actually the bass from the woofers hitting me. It's not actually happened, but my mind kind of just turns and plays a trick on me, so to say.
Your mind makes it real. Yes, sir.
Exactly. So the more that I've noticed that you have in here, I mean, it could be, you know, of course, we don't have smells, but you may see smoke in a world. And all of a sudden in your brain, you start to process smoke. You're not actually smelling smoke. You just happen to see realistic looking smoke.
Where were
So
we
it's
the other
amazing
day?
how that happens.
We went, Yatta and I went to Steel City yesterday. We were over in Steel City and we were on the backside of it, and something sounded like a gunshot. And immediately I was like, and I'm looking around, you know, I hunched over and I bent down. I'm looking at it. I'm like, did you hear that? You know,
Like, look, we exist outside this headset. So if you hear some shots lick off, then yeah, that's exactly what you're going to do.
Get out.
Random shot go off. That's exactly what you're going to do.
you know.
Now, kind of while we're in the same vein of what we're talking about here, how do you balance the need for realism with your artistic expressions in these virtual worlds and designs? And to kind of give them an idea of what I'm talking about. Some platforms, when people see it, people may say, that looks kind of cartoonish. And then there's other worlds that you go in. I'm going to use Blue as an example. Blue is learning to build. She has an amazing house, so does City. And when you go into their houses in VR, like they'll have a stove, and then there's like a turkey in the oven. And every time I see it, I get hungry. So like so that's the kind of stuff that I'm asking. Like, how do you balance that need for having realism, but then also trying to keep a VR experience? So let's see. I don't remember where we left off. Yatta. She's like, don't call on me.
No, I build as realistic as possible. So I don't know that I even try to balance it out. I like for my stuff to look as realistic as possible. And people will have their preference. You know, some want to balance it out. Some prefer the cartoony look, and some prefer the more realistic look. I think coming from alt space, for me, I love the realistic build, because it's kind of like, you know, you could build this house that maybe you couldn't afford in real life, you know, and you can come in and actually feel like you're in this house. And so I'm really big on the realistic builds. So I really don't try to balance it.
I like that answer. She's like, I'm not even playing around. It's going to be realistic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Only one way.
Pistolas, what's your thoughts, fam?
I mean, I kind of struggle with it too. I mean, I have a crazy mind when it comes to certain things, and I can go into a world and imagine kind of what they were thinking of when they create their world. But I stick with the realistic side of things when I build. I like to experience like the crazy stuff and all that kind of, but the realistic side is where I build more so. But I will say I kind of stepped out of my comfort zone this past year with a gentleman who, again, I would love to have the three of us on the show too, would be Michael Adam, who I joined up with, and we created Half Smash Rabbit. He came to me and talked to me about, forming a group. I said, yeah, most definitely. And we came up with a world called Look Both Ways, which is a kind of it's a mishmash of different games. Yeah, kind of a Frogger scenario / Pitfall, all these old kind of 80s games mashed up together. But again, you're the one running the experience. And again, Michael's mind is awesome too. He's one of those guys. You were talking about immersive games. When I met him, he had already had several games that he had worked on, and Pac-Man being one, Duck Hunt. But when you push the button on the actual arcade unit itself, you're sucked into the game and you're now Pac-Man, so you walk into an arcade that has a bunch of arcade units, but when you push that play button, whoop, you go right into the game, and now you are Pac-Man. You're the guy holding the gun, shooting Duck Hunt. I mean, it's really clever.
I mean, ghost chasing me, I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
So no, I would say I stick with the realistic. He kind of pulled me out of that, zone of building when it came to that. But I still hold that realism in the game and stuff like that too. I feel like it's still real, even though you're running through. But yeah, no, most definitely, I agree with you.
Definitely. All right, Mr. York.
Well, I go for realism, a hyper realism. With maybe a combination of some futuristic elements. As far as like UI design and things like that. You may
user interface for those who don't know what that means. How
So-
you're able
so-
to manipulate stuff within the game. How you're able to control stuff. So
Right. And so you might have a modern home, but you may have some particle elements that's in your home that you're looking like, this can't be contained. How well is this hanging in the middle of nowhere? You know what I'm saying? So, so I guess a hyper realism with the sci-fi twang somewhere in here, because people they love being able to come into something that looks like it's realistic. Well, it's impossible, but it's real. It feels realistic to the eyes. I'm saying so. Yeah.
all right, now you kind of all touched on this somewhat, but when users come to your worlds, your builds, what do you want them to walk away with?
Feelings. I want them to walk away with an experience and some type of feeling, whether they hated it and they can't stand it and they tell me, straight up, your world sucks, this is boring.
Oh no.
I want them to have some type of feeling, whether or happy, something. I want them to get a feeling, because when I get that feeling, I want my world to do the same thing that other people's worlds are doing for me when I walk into a world. So if you're not getting a feeling from my world, I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, I like that. I guess if somebody steps into your world and the needle doesn't move left or right, that's probably not a good thing. Yeah, it's not a good thing.
Either that or they're over medicated, one or the other. It could be either or. But
Hey,
that's
happens in the metaverse.
Right.
Okay.
Actually, it happens outside the headset
I was gonna say
before they come into the
outside, before
metaverse.
they
Let's
come
say it
in.
that way.
Right.
Maybe it does or doesn't enhance their experience in the metaverse. So.
Right.
All right, let's flip the order. So, Yatta, We didn't have an ask you, right? Ask Pistolas first. Yatta, what do you think?
Oh, I like for when people leave my builds, I like them to leave with the feeling of peace. I am all about the cozy, warm vibes. And so that's how I try to build. When you come in, it's a welcoming, peaceful feeling, like somewhere you could just go sit in and just chill and enjoy the space. And when you leave with a feeling of peace.
It's very peaceful in their tiny homes, and we're going to come back to that.
Yes, sir.
Kip, what's your thoughts, Phil?
I don't know. I don't know, Marcus. I don't know what I want people to leave my worlds with, because I build in such broad categories. Like I may make a chill world one day. I want people to come in. I want them to chill, realize they can come in here. They can play some music. You know, they can smoke a couple of blunts. They can drink a couple of drinks and stuff, and have visual effects. And then in one world they can maybe see a couple of dancers. Speaking of, I'm opening up
Look, you can mention that before we get up out of here. I'm gonna definitely have you guys mention some of the stuff you got coming up. So definitely mention that one. Definitely mention that one.
But I just want people. I want people to enjoy themselves, and I want you. I get, like Pistola said, I want to just inspire a broad range of feelings. You know what I'm saying? What I know what this world made me feel like when I got into it, but what did you feel? You know what I'm saying? This world could have made me feel at peace, but it could have made you excited about coming into VR more and being a builder or something. From Horizons coming to one of my clubs last night, and he was just so inspired to learn Blender and Unity for like the lighting experiences and these things that you could build over here. And I was like, well, I host classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. You know what I'm saying? And so
you want to learn to build.
So,
classes Tuesdays and Thursdays,
so I got
6 p.m. Eastern in Discord.
You know what I'm saying? I got videos on YouTube as well, you know, of all of our classes and everything. But
we'll share the link.
It made me feel so good, you know, that he wanted, that I inspired him to come over and to want to extend his creative artistry over there. You know, so like yeah. I'm gonna piggyback on Pistols. I just want to inspire a feeling, you know, whatever feeling that may be, whether it's good, bad, you know. How do you feel? Because I build for the community, but I build from my mind first. I don't build as what will somebody think of this? I build as opposed to I want to build this, and I'm going to show it to the community and let them, you know what I'm saying, inspire their own feelings off of it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Speaking of inspiring, what advice would you all have for aspiring builders here in the metaverse? Somebody who may be thinking like, hey, you know, I can build something. You know, I can make a room. I can make a club. I can make a party. I can make a landscape or whatever the case may be. What advice would you have for them?
Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Let that fear. I
didn't mean to hit the toilet button.
You know what I'm saying? No. That was a good one. That was a good one. Flush that fear.
Flush the fear.
Right
there we go.
Here's your fear right there. It's leaving.
Bring that on the rail.
You know what I'm saying? Flush it down the toilet, man, because when you're first starting out, no one has done anything perfectly right off the bat.
Right.
Even if you think you have, you didn't. You didn't. You're gonna always have critics. Come on now, you're gonna always have critics. Come on, really? You know what I'm saying?
Look, if not yourself being your own critic, you build a world and you come back 3 months later and you're like, it's like painful looking at it. Like, I messed up there.
Badu said in that concert, Erykah Badu did. She said, something about. I'm sensitive about my shit.
Keep in mind, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit.
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you're going to always be your own worst critic. So, first and foremost, flush that fear,
Mhm.
learn, and take every bit of criticism, whether it be good or bad, and use that as a strength. Use it as a strength, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I take every piece of criticism I've ever gotten from Blue.
And
Yep,
City, and especially with a punch list. You know what I'm saying? You have
Yes,
to
and
take
yes.
every last
So even
person
when you
comes
think
on
you
that
have
list.
something built and it's perfect, we have
Mhm.
City Girl and we have Blue Moon to let us know otherwise.
I'm trying to tell you that is not lined up perfectly.
Get people in check.
Is this gap supposed to be here? Am I supposed to be able to look through that?
Mhm.
Yes, you are.
Yo, on that note, hold on. On that note, since we're doing a podcast, I would just like to shout out my three of my greatest inspirations when I first came into the metaverse. The
Please
first one,
do.
the first one was Poe in VR. She
Shout
brought me
out to
into
Poe.
alt space. Sasha on VR. Oh God, this woman, she criticized everything I did, but it made me better. And then my little sis Sasha that criticizes everything I do as well. You know what I'm saying? Those three right there have been pivotal standpoints in my creative process and it inspired me to even create even better things. And I went on to meet people such as Blue, City, yourself, you know what I'm saying, that just inspires me, you know, every day to be a better builder and stuff, man. So shout out to y'all, man. I love y'all to death.
Look, shout out to them, and I promise you, Sasha will hit you in a minute. Like, you're not done yet, are you?
Bro.
It's just like, yeah, I'm about to publish the world. You're not done yet, are you? I'm sorry, Yatta. Go ahead.
You know what? I think Kip summed it up. I don't think I could say it any better. Flush the fear. You know, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yes.
Some
Yes.
people will try to squeeze every penny out of you that they can, but there are many people who will help you without asking for anything in return. And if you can get in those circles of people who freely and willingly will help you, I think that's a good thing you can do.
If you find the right people in here in the metaverse, there's an amazing
Yeah.
two-way street of
There's
sharing
a
knowledge
lot
in
of
here.
them too. There's
Yeah.
a lot of them too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Pistolas?
I would say the same thing. I mean, I'll piggyback on you guys, but I'll also say don't give up. You know, don't
Yes.
stop. That's the
Yeah.
main thing. When
Mhm.
you get in here, again, don't get discouraged by any means, but don't give up if you do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's so many videos, there's so many people,
Yeah.
there's so many resources that you can use to better yourself, not even just in here, in life in general, but in here for sure. There are so many resources that you can use. And like Yatta said, the right people, the right groups, and there's a million of them. I don't even think I could name and like 5 people or 10 people that were my inspiration because there's too many of them.
Mhm.
And it might not even be, you know, a person that's an inspiration necessarily, but a world, which means that person that created that world is an inspiration to me. So
Mhm.
like I just took Yatta, she's been there before too, which is funny because there's so many people in here and so many groups. You might not know people that are amazing, and you might not know worlds that are amazing
Yeah.
because there's
Yep.
so many of them. But we both went to a world that we've both been to, and we love the city in it, the look of it. But yeah, it was just funny because Toby K87, again, amazing creator in here when it comes to sculpting and things like that. But just phenomenal. And like I said, it was a random find for me because my kid was in the headset looking up Ninja Turtle stuff that I found him and then randomly found all of his amazing things that are not dedicated to
he is
comics and
crazy
things like
with it.
that. I mean,
Mhm.
and he's all over the place. I mean, when it comes
Mhm.
to his builds and his design. So, no, like I said, don't give up. Don't get discouraged. There's too many resources and too many good people in here that are a community and are trying to actually build something awesome. So don't let the people that are in here, you know, flush that shit down the toilet, like you said before. So that's a.
And don't be
That was
afraid to
good.
learn. And on the don't be afraid side, don't be afraid to learn from somebody, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Don't be afraid
Right.
to learn from somebody, bro.
Mhm.
You know what
Look, shout out to Kip. Shout out to Ryu. When I
Yeah.
first tried to
Yep.
go into VR chat, I
I'm
was banging my head up against the wall. I couldn't figure out how to get builds up there. I'm not a builder. I may do a little building. I'm not a builder. But like Kip
That's a lie.
and Ryu in like 2 days, like damn near answer questions that I have been trying to work on and figure out for weeks, if not months. And they're like, oh yeah, just do this. And I'm like, wait, what? And it was like literally that quick. So when you find the right people, when you find your right tribe in here, you'll be amazed at the things you can do. Shout out to the Mr. Block Party radio team.
Mr. Block Party.
Well, I tell you what, if you saw me jump up here really quickly, and I'm glad we actually hit the last question that I had scheduled because my headset was about to die on me. One of the issues that we may have sometime in VR. So I had to go ahead and plug it in. But before we get out of here, there's a couple things I want to mention. I want them to definitely talk about what they have going on in the future or currently. Yatta, we got it for you. Touch base on the tiny homes. An amazing thing for people coming into Horizon initially, and even people who have been here. Kip has tons of community builds, but I'm gonna let Kip tell you about Sky Song here as well, because we gotta let him do that. And Pistola, whatever you decide to mention, feel free to do, fam. I don't know it much because I just met him days ago, but like his landscape in the Sum of the Worlds, my goodness, is amazing. We saw one of her amazing homes with his amazing landscape, and it just exponentially increased the period.
Facts.
So I tell you what, Kip, tell them a little bit about Sky Song before we get up out of here.
Sky Song is for adults. It is an adult-only world. Adults.
You heard him. He said adults.
Adults. You come over
he said
there.
It more than once.
And you're under 18, I promise you, I'm going to ban you with the quickness. I just want to let you know that. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, you know, if you don't want to go out and drink and have to drive home after, going to a nice club and stuff. You don't want to do that, Yatta. You don't want to do that.
No, absolutely
don't
not.
You want to come and see and get a gentleman's dance, every now and then, and have you a drinking?
Oh, I can't. I'm married, but that's probably great.
He ain't go no. I'm just saying. So Sky Song is a VR full body tracking experience.
Get out of here.
Wow.
It's when you come over there, we're talking about dancers that got 18-point tracking systems attached to them where every movement that they make in real life from the head to the legs, you can see it. You know what I'm saying? We have a full working bar that will get you visually, that causes visual effects to get you drunk. We got blunts that you can smoke that'll give you a visual effect of being high.
This is all in VR.
This is all in VR, man. You know what I'm saying? And then, but
VR drinking and smoke
possible without the camaraderie of your friends that come with you, where you can enjoy these experiences with and be like, yo, is that a real person on stage doing that? That's not an animation? No, that's not an animation. That is a person in real life in their place of security. Dancing, you know what I'm saying, and enjoying what they do. So, and Sky Song is that type of place. Now, true enough, capacity is limited due to the high poly avatars and stuff that we have in there. You know what I'm saying? If after so many people, you know what I'm saying, you'll start to get kind of glitchy. But if you just sit your butt still with your friends and just watch what's going on the stage, you'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about everything else. But definitely, we're having our grand opening this Saturday at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come
for
out,
adults,
enjoy the experience. If you don't got a headset, you can download VR Chat from Steam. You can come in on your desktop and just come in and enjoy yourself. And see what these dancers and stuff move because of look, it's an experience. It is definitely an experience.
You heard him. Saturday night, Sky Song, grand opening. Yatta, tell us a little bit about the tiny homes.
Oh, I want to add a little caveat to his
Yes,
experience there. Another great thing about VR is that it's safe. No mass shooters, no robberies, no driving home
drunk driving.
No stalkers.
Exactly.
Following you out of the building.
Exactly.
Yep.
You do all. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. You do it all from the comfort of your couch. I mean, I don't think it gets any better than that. But
that is true.
What I do, I have recently started building tiny homes, and I do very affordable tiny homes.
Which I'm purchasing today. Which I'm purchasing one today. I just want to put that in there.
Thank you. You'd be surprised how affordable they are. So
we won't say here now because in case she ever changes her price, you'd be like, wait a second, in the podcast you said, but no, I promise you, super affordable.
Yeah, I don't think you'll be able to get the same quality of a build for the price that I'm doing. And I wanted to do that because when I first came into Horizon Worlds from Altspace and I saw one of Rex Rod's homes, and he is an amazing builder. And I inquired with someone to build something similar and they quoted me $800. And I wanted a home so bad I was going to do it. But then when I told my husband, he changed my mind. So I didn't. And that inspired me to learn how to build. And so I wanted to offer people beautiful quality homes at affordable prices, because some people act like they buy in the lumber and the plumbing and
gotta get gotta get permits and such, gotta pull permits. Yeah, like no, we don't have to pay for that.
And so I recently teamed up with Pistolas. He gave me an offer I could not refuse. So he is now doing the custom environments to go along with the tiny homes. He said before he's a landscaper by trade. And let me tell you what he came in and added to one of my homes. Oh my goodness. Absolutely beautiful. And so that's
the ones with the cars going.
Yeah, with the beach.
It's amazing. I promise you, we're going to include some video attached with this podcast so that you can see the stuff that we're talking about. And just us describing it doesn't do it justice.
Yeah. So he started talking to me about, giving an experience. So for me, the experience is inside the home, and then he's able to come and add the experience outside the home. So that's what we have going now.
Nice. Pistolas, what do you want to say? I still got some juice in my headset. If I happen to jump out of here, they're professionals and they'll probably close off the show. But yeah, my battery is yelling at me.
All good, man. I'll be quick. So again, teamed up with Yatta doing some landscape projects. And every time I jump in with her, I have another idea on how we can expand those projects. So that's definitely something in the future, to look for more tiny homes and more environments, things like that on that end. But again, as I had mentioned before, I have teamed up with Michael Adam and Devin as well, also known as Chida King. And Michael is MP514. We are Half Smash Rabbit Creations, and we already have a game out. If you haven't played it, it's called Look Both Ways 2, Look Both Ways. Look Both Ways 2 is in the process, and hopefully will be out, I'll say, within the month, maybe this month of May. We are also working on something too. I might as well shout it out, Yatta, as well. Yeah. The Horizon Choice Awards, which is basically going to be an award show that is held for the people that have created worlds in here. Anybody can enter, and it's going to be voted on by the people of Horizon World as well. No specific group of judges voting on anything. So the first real Horizon Choice Awards will be held this year.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's I like that.
I got to say a quick shout out. We're doing it. We're in a VR experience, and actually this podcast studio that we're in is inside of a building here, so to say, in VR. In that building is part of a street with a lot of other buildings. There's a club next door, a lot of stuff around us. And seeing the fact that this is a city, I got to say a shout out. Jen Smash, mayor of City of Adam. Yes, in VR, the City of Adam has a mayor. Just stepped into the building. So we're going to have to get her on the show here one day. Yeah, we'll have to get on the show here one day.
You know what? I want to touch on that real quick, Marcus. I want to let people know out there that we're at the forefront of a vast new frontier of an economy that is ever evolving, a new economy that is ever evolving.
I tell you what, Kip, let me just say this. I want you guys to keep going, but I think my headset may die. So in case my headset dies, this is DJ Marcus J, a.k.a. Mr. Block Party. This has been another episode of the Metaversal Mindset Podcast. Kip, keep going. I got to drop that in just in case I get cut off.
Exactly, man, bro. We are at the forefront of a new evolving economy. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell everybody, the metaverse right now is literally a baby that is in the delivery room that is about to be born.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And in the next 10 years, man, there will not be one household that does not have a VR or AR device. You know what I'm saying?
I'll agree with that completely.
Yes.
You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
So if you have any type of idea that you have in the real world, there is a way to
Mhm.
promote for it in the metaverse. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, come on in here, man. Jump,
Yeah.
grab a headset and dive on in and
Mhm.
join us on this journey because it's amazing. It's an amazing journey.
I like that. I tell you what, because again, I don't want to look unprofessional. My headset cut off. There's a whole bunch of prep work
Oh
before the
my
show
God.
started, so I
Oh my
use battery
God.
life for that. But I want to thank Pistolas. I want to thank YattaYatta. I want to thank Kip. I have to thank the entire Mr. Block Party radio team for all that they do. This would not be possible. I mean, their security, they do all kind of stuff behind the scenes that
Okay.
you would never see. But I promise you, this does not happen without all of them. And just so you know, Kip York is actually part of the team too, as well as Cyber Shay. Shout out to Cyber Shay.
Yes, sir.
But the three of you, I want to thank you for coming through.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Definitely
Appreciate it.
thank you for sharing as far as your building experiences in here. Because the whole purpose of this podcast is to let people outside the headset know what we're doing here. And the three of you did an amazing job of letting people know. So I thank you for that.
Fantastic. Much
Thank
appreciated.
you. Yeah. Enjoyed it.
Again, my name is DJ Marcus J, aka Mr. Block Party, and this has been another episode of the Metaversal Mindset Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Peace. Till next time.